was the nice part about everything, that we did get at least some rainfall out of all of this. But excuse me, as we go into the rest of the next few days, there will be more chances of rainfall coming up. Not great chances, and unfortunately, some of those might be happening somewhere around Halloween to somewhere close to about Election Day, coming up a week and a day from now. That's going to be the worst potential out there. And I hate that anybody outside of life-threatening weather would use the weather as an excuse to not get out and cast your ballots. So for tomorrow, not bad. For next week in total, also not bad. But if you please don't use the weather as an excuse to not vote. Get out there and cast your ballot. Let's behave like decent Americans. Again, people have fought and died for our right to do that. So let's make certain that we are doing it so. And the whole argument about when you skip voting, it's not protest, it's actually surrender. That is one of the worst things I've ever heard about voting, is that it doesn't matter anyway, so why do it? Well, that, again, just basically throws your vote away and makes a lot of people sacrifice null and void pretty much. So please consider that before you decide to do anything out there in the way of getting rid of your vote by just not voting. Okay, it's just one of the best things you can possibly do in this country as a citizen and somebody who enjoys freedom. You should be, again, ready for that. Let's take a look at the Halloween possibilities for rainfall and, again, for the rest of the forecast. This is Weather Overtime. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick with a quick check of what's going on with your forecast into the course of the next several hours. Again, we don't have much going on in the way of anything involving huge amounts of rainfall, but we may see the potential of some of that coming up in the near future. Now, last week we were 4/100ths of an inch of rain in the rain gauge. That's just above a trace for the entire month, or less than 1/100th of an inch. This weekend we picked up 1/10 of an inch of rain, and that got us to 14/100ths of an inch. So yes, we did get some rainfall, but that is it. So this may go down as one of the wettest dry Octobers in history, depending on how things go. We'll take a look at the almanac page from the National Weather Service and see what that tells us. We're also behind for the year. We're sneaking up on 10 inches behind on rainfall, so we could desperately use some more rain, and that's just not going to be happening in any abundance anytime soon. Above normal on the high and low temperature for the day, so again, fairly close to where we should be, but not quite there. Into the morning hours, it is going to be a little bit more cloud cover out there overnight, and then we also see again the potential for more in the way of rainfall down the line, but we're just not picking up too much of anything else in the way of excuse me, anything involving more potential of rainfall out there for the time being, which is what we could use desperately at this time, but we're just not seeing it for the time being, again, for right now. So we'll talk more about that coming up here again in just a little bit. Let's do a little extracurricular off the top. Thank you very much, Wayne Williams from Chattanooga, for a view of some mist and fog rising from between the mountains around Slade, Kentucky. Very nice view there for our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. If you've got pictures, we'd love to be able to see them, so go ahead and send them in to us at pictures@wdef.com. Would love to see what you're seeing out there, and so you can send those in to us so we can show everybody else what you have been looking at out there. I should mention, again, if you are just tuning in, this is a weather blog. We're live from Chattanooga, Tennessee. We cover the area of southeast Tennessee, western North Carolina, North Georgia, especially northwest Georgia, and into the areas north and west of Atlanta, and back to the areas east of Huntsville in northeastern Alabama. So if you're in and around this area, welcome to the show. Drop by our YouTube and Twitch channels, say hi, and show us where you're from. Ask questions if you want to. We'll do our best to let you know more about what's going on with weather in and around this area. We'll also take a look at things like the tropics, things like that. So thanks for tuning in. Stick around, and we'll show you a little bit more about what's going on out there where it comes to anything involving weather affecting our area. So for tonight, Doubtful we're going to be looking at too much of anything going on for right now. Downtown Chattanooga from the Bailey's Heating and Air camera. Also, again, a quiet evening for right now. Excuse me. This is a view with a lot of haze to it. There's a decent amount of wildfire smoke, not necessarily from anything around our area, but high pressure, keeping things nice and dry and quiet, is allowing that smoke to kind of coalesce and kind of make its way around the southeastern United States. And that haze out there is what we're looking at. You can see a lot of that. Usually you can see off to the southwest pretty well. Some of the mountains out that direction, you're able to see some of that anyway. Not seeing that tonight on the Lee Point camera. You're seeing a lot of haze. This view from downtown we're about to show you. Patriot Concrete camera from the News 12 studios looking north towards Signal Mountain. You can see some of the transmission tower lights up there. You can also see traffic moving along on I-24, but usually Signal Mountain is a lot more well-defined, even with the street lights out there, and we're just not seeing, excuse me, all that much. I think this is a big problem of what I'm having here, along with pollen. Really cannot wait for the first frost to arrive. Yes, I know a lot of you have gardens still going, but when you have allergies like mine, kind of nice to be able to get a little bit of relief on there. From 2475, again, traffic usually at this area, pretty much a scrum at this time, especially 75 north to 24 west. Not seeing a problem here. Everything going through that construction zone over to the west, that is where we have some very quiet conditions for now. Couple more cameras here on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam Network. Chattanooga Theater Center. A lot of folks on the footbridge. Coolidge Park along the North Shore. The Speedy's Total Car Care camera from earlier, but otherwise not bad. And a view of Erlanger Hospital from earlier. Oh, pardon me. We turned the camera around so you can see I-24 on the ridge, both directions, east and westbound, and then down below you may see a car or two on Holtzclaw Avenue going past, possibly a little bit too fast there. I might want to slow that down, buddy. Also, again, for tonight, decently quiet. Temperatures right now back in the lower 60s. At the Chattanooga Airport, winds out of the south at about 6 miles per hour. So a beautiful evening pretty much all the way on through. We're coming up on 10 o'clock, so temperatures right before the top of the hour. Excuse me for a second. Cheers. I have to wet the whistle after talking so much. Temperatures not bad right before the top of the hour. Back in the 50s and 60s. We managed to make a couple of 80s today, but because of the cloud cover blocking out the sun, we had temperatures that were much less warm than what they were off to the west. We still have some very warm conditions out here back in the mid to upper 70s, much cooler where the clouds were from earlier today. Those clouds are part of our latest storm system rolling through. We're not getting a lot of clouds showing up right now on the nighttime scan, but what we have is the cloud cover that is actually, and this is kind of cool, some of these clouds out here were actually a hurricane in the Pacific just a few days ago. Nothing even close to that right now, but this is where we're seeing these clouds drift on through down to the south and to the east. So that's where we're winding up with some of those cloud cover out there from that leftover hurricane, and that's why we're not going to see totally sunny skies into the next several days. It's going to be very mild, and it's also probably, unless something changes, it's going to be very smoky as the wildfires continue across much of the region. High pressure, you can see the wind arrows on here rotating clockwise. Moisture from the Gulf is making its way up into the Midwest, and that, again, is giving us the potential of some showers and maybe some thunderstorms from the Intermountain West up into the high plains and the Dakotas. That is where we've got a decent amount of the heaviest amount of any precipitation showing up for tonight. It doesn't look like much, and in fact it isn't, but a lot of those areas in the Intermountain West and the high plains too could use some rainfall in the worst way because of the wildfires that are out that direction. this front is actually going to be heading our direction. So over the next few days, we are going to be seeing some changes taking place. Let's go ahead and fast forward on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning. That is where the next front starts to arrive in the mid-south, way back to our west. And then as we get into around close to trick-or-treating time, right beforehand, right about the time it's time to wrap up trick-or-treating for this year, that is where we see the rain potential move in just to our west. So by the time we hit roughly about 9 o'clock Thursday the 31st to midnight on the 1st of November, where is the time gone? That is where the rain chances will be moving in. So hopefully the trick-or-treating gets underway relatively easily, and this front does not speed up. There's a decent amount of high pressure here, so I think the area of high pressure will be holding this back a little bit, so I don't think it's going to be advancing quite as quickly as it has been. Hopefully that's the case. Again, keep your fingers crossed on that one, but we'll see what this front continues to do in the next several days. So keep it tuned to News 12 for more information. 6 to 10 day outlook, very much, again, an above normal chance of some well above normal temperatures. The really cool weather, that's going to be way out here into and around the great west of the Great Lakes into the Rockies. We've got the potential of well above normal temperatures coming up. And then for precipitation, this is where things get a little bit interesting. Over the next few days, we might see the potential of maybe a little bit more in the way of precipitation showing up. It doesn't look like much for right now, but it does put us on the greener side of things instead of the lesser amounts of rain, very dry over toward the East Coast. So some much needed rainfall here, and with the wheat harvest pretty much almost over with and rice fields being burned off, that will help to keep things at least a little bit more doused with rainfall. At least that's the way we're hoping for. Now, what about the tropics? We have little, if anything, going on in the next 2 to 7 days. So says the National Hurricane Center. So we do not have anything going on directly here. Let me just make certain that they have not posted anything new. And no, they have not. And the best potential of cyclone formation is here in the Caribbean, the southwestern Caribbean. We'll be seeing an area of low pressure develop here over the course of the next several days. Gradual development is possible thereafter, and a tropical depression could form late this week or over the weekend while the system begins to drift northward or northeastward toward the central Caribbean. So that is right now the best news that we've got, is that nothing big is happening at this point. And if you are a fan of those websites that scream Category 6 hurricane possible inbound to the Florida coast, there's no evidence of that happening right now. Please be cautious where you get your weather information from. We'll keep you updated here on News 12, but those eyeball-grabbing websites, just really not that worth it to have anything like that. That would be something that is very clickbaity and designed to catch eyeballs, is more than likely not going to give you the most accurate information. We have no desire to be a hype weather situation, so we'll keep you updated on stuff like this. So keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you advised on that. All right, so for tonight, Island Cove, Lake Chickamauga, looking very placid out there. Haze and wildfire smoke out across portions of the area there. And then, again, over the next couple of days, we see the potential of some rainfall coming up Thursday into around Friday. That's going to be very late Thursday into very early Friday morning. Then the rain remains until Friday afternoon. Doesn't look like it's going to be a big problem for Friday Night Football because the rain should be over with by then. We'll drop the temperatures a little bit on Friday with the clouds and the rainfall possibility, and then as we get into next week, we'll warm back up again. A straight chance of a shower, maybe a thunderstorm on Monday, and then more chances of rain on Election Day, but most of those should be happening after the polls close next Tuesday. So for good, and that's good news. Again, don't ever let the weather be an excuse for not getting out and not casting your ballot. That is something that needs to be done. A little bit of rain, that's not a huge thing. So get out. If you're going to get a little bit wet, what better way to do that on a day when we're celebrating our national freedoms by making certain that we are doing what we are able to do as a country to show our support for this country by voting. It's a very simple thing to do. Very much on the mild side as well, so I think for the polls next week we shouldn't too much of a problem out there. Temperatures, this is just above normal for this time of the year. This and this is very much above normal, so it's going to be quite warm out here in the course of the next several days, with temperatures not really all that cool. It'd be nice, but just really not seeing that anytime soon. Temperatures will continue to be rather, I won't say stifling, but I will say quite warm for this time of the year. So cool-ish in the mornings, but not seeing too much of anything in the way of very chilly conditions, which would be nice, but just is not going to be happening anytime soon. Excuse me. All right, so let's do some extracurricular stuff. We did the school day forecast, the dog walking forecast. That's the evening. Let's go ahead and switch over. Where did it go? To the morning show. And show you that, again, in the morning, it's going to be brisk, but it's not going to be totally chilly. Fido should be good with their fur coat on. You might need a jacket with the coolest of the temperatures up there. So by the morning, lower to mid 50s, and clouds will be sticking around off and on. But for the most part, a very comfortable morning. Thanks to News 12 viewer Debbie Bowman from Chattanooga for a review of Ruby taking up the couch. That's our Rough Cuts Dog Grooming of Cleveland dog walking forecast for Monday. If you'd like to submit your pupper pictures so we can show them, go to wdef.com/dogwalk for more, and we'll be glad to see your pupper picture up on the air there. So go ahead and send those in to us as soon as possible. All right, it just ended a little while ago. National Weather Service in Nashville has a weather education program called Weather 101. And this is a great program. It's a webinar, Zoom meeting type situation to where you can show up and get a ton of information about various topics. These are just the topics for the last few days of October. Tonight's topic was hurricanes. The topic for Tuesday will be at 10 o'clock in the morning and will be National Weather Service storm damage surveys. They held this earlier this last week, and that was at 7 o'clock on the meeting there. But if you'd like to know more about how and why the National Weather Service catalogs the storms that they do, Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock Central Time, that's Nashville. They're in Middle Tennessee, and that's Central Time, not Eastern. So if you'd like to know more, 10 o'clock Eastern, that'll be held tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. if you'd like to know more about that. Tonight's topic was hurricanes, and if you missed that, that will be coming up again more than likely in the November session, not listed here. These are just the October sessions on there. Wednesday morning, observations in 3 dimensions using 3D modeling to predict and also protect people, livestock, property from the worst of the weather by not just examining in just slices of the atmosphere, but in 3-dimensional modeling capabilities. Very cool to see that. And of course, flooding coming up 7 p.m. on Halloween night. Great opportunity to see more about that. And again, more information from the National Weather Service Nashville at their website. Go to weather.gov, click on the area of the country. Well, let me just show you here real quick and give you an idea as to what you'd be looking at. The National Weather Service website looks like this. You have, again, all the model information up here. You got air quality, rivers, lakes, rainfall, forecast maps, alerts, and you got the map of the country. That's the best way to get to where you're going. Find your county where you happen to live. And again, we'll just use Nashville as an idea. Click on Middle Tennessee area on the map, and that'll take you directly to the National Weather Service in Nashville. And then right up at the, where did it go? Well, it was there. Go to the local programs, down the menu to Weather 101, and then there you go. More information about what's going on in regards, you do have to register, but it's totally for free. And you do have to use GoToMeeting on this, which is not a big thing. Pretty easy to operate, and you are able to attend. You have to have speakers to listen, but if you want to ask questions, you have to have a voice over internet protocol microphone, not a requirement. And I think you can also submit your questions beforehand by text or by type, if I'm not mistaken. But again, the one tonight was on hurricanes. The one coming up tomorrow will be National Weather Service storm damage surveys. So a great opportunity to learn more. Well, I got the website up. Let's go ahead and do our friendinroofing.com weather poll of the day. In 1870, the Weather Bureau of the United States was established by which U.S. president? Andrew Johnson, Ulysses S. Grant, Rutherford B. Hayes, or James A. Garfield? And of course, the correct question and the majority answer was 81% for who's buried in Grant's tomb. Thank you very much for participating in our poll. Use the QR code here to get there, or go to our website at wdef.com/vote now if you would like to participate in our polls. We've got news polls, we've got sports polls, we've got everything available out there, so drop by and let us know what your opinion is. We'd love to be able to see you participate in those. Coming up, again, whenever you want it, if you'd like to be a Skywarn spotter, same beginning of the website, weather.gov, and go to MRX or Eastern Tennessee and participate in the National Weather Service Morristown, the virtual Skywarn spotter training course. Take the course wherever you have an internet access and wherever you are able to take the quiz, and then you can register with your National Weather Service office as a Skywarn spotter. Yes, this is only a spotter course. It is not a chase course. And for those of you who are going to get persnickety and say, well, duh, it says so in the title, I point that out not to draw anybody's scorn or to have anybody raise their eyebrows pointedly at me. It's a good place for a chaser, a future chaser, to start learning about what goes on in the atmosphere. And most importantly, what these courses teach you is how to stay safe. And this is a great opportunity because they are listed, again, in person in various locations around the area, taught by the meteorologists and personnel of the local National Weather Service Forecast Office. But there are some times where you just can't make the meetings. You're too busy. This is a good opportunity to get online and take the course as whenever you want to. So something to consider there. And then also something to consider coming up next weekend, right before Election Day, this coming weekend, this had to be rescheduled from the arrival of Hurricane Helene. The National Weather Service Morristown, their coverage area was affected in the eastern parts of their area around North Carolina, Virginia, down to the south and east of there. They had to participate in storm damage surveys, making certain all information was passing along nicely. If there were any National Weather Service outages, they had to take over for those. But now that the danger is past and the cleanup is still going on from Helene, they have rescheduled the open house, which was going to happen somewhere about mid-September. Now it is rescheduled for Saturday, November 2nd. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again, more information at their website, more information at our website, down below the forecast at wdef.com/weather for more information on there. So a great opportunity to learn more. And coming up a weekend after that open house, Barnard Astronomical Society will be holding their latest star party November 9th, 5 to 10 p.m. Again, this is weather dependent, so please remember to monitor the Barnard Astronomical Society's website and social media. They'll tell you whether or not they're going to be holding the event. If there's too many clouds out there, there's no point inviting a whole bunch of people to stand around looking at a bunch of telescopes. So, again, this will be held at Harrison Bay State Park, Harrison, Tennessee. This is completely and totally free. You don't have to bring any equipment, no binoculars, no telescopes, nothing like that. They have all kinds of scopes and monitors and devices for you to look through, and hopefully, again, some good viewing there. More information at barnardastronomy.org if you would like to see more on that. What else did we not mention at this time? I think that's pretty much it for tonight. We did not have a lot of weather to talk about. Things are relatively stable. And since we're coming up on 25 minutes all the way through the afternoon and evening through tonight, I don't really see much of anything else going on. So we'll go ahead and throw it back to your regularly scheduled Monday evening. If you got any questions or have a comment or a suggestion or a complaint, if you absolutely must, email address at the lower portion of your screen, aonic@wdef.com. You can also drop by our website down at the bottom portion of the screen. wdef.com is the main website. /weather is part of our weather forecasting area where you can get all kinds of information there. And of course, we always post these weather overtimes to our website so you can see them directly there. You can also see them on our weather app. So if you don't have that yet, go to the website, whatever phone model you use, and search WDEF Weather. And you'll get our weather app. Download that, and you can watch weather overtime right on your portable device, whatever that happens to be. So good opportunity to keep up to date with the weather there. Think that's going to do it for tonight. Didn't get any questions on Twitch and no questions on YouTube, so nothing showing up there. So we'll go ahead and say goodnight for now. And, of course, I'll have more coming up tomorrow night. Chip Chapman has your forecast bright and early tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for more on the Tuesday morning show that starts at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Chip will have weather. Amelia Greer has the news. And, of course, we'll have more on time saver traffic, getting you out and about down the roadway safely out there. Thanks for joining us on Monday evening, live and direct. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. Stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online, and we'll see you again coming up on Tuesday evening.